also got the idea to riff off on a couple other dynamics that are personally to me very important as an AD, as a first AD. That this might be just my personal preference, but my closest collaborator on set is actually the DP. My dynamic with the DP makes or breaks the shoot. I have had directors that I didn't enjoy working with, and it was quite obvious that they didn't enjoy working with me as well. Or I have had directors where they've never really worked with a first AD before. It was all just like the DP just presses record and presses stop, and there isn't a set etiquette. There isn't, the role of the AD is just not understood. So the director was just outright dismissing me for the whole day or treating me as a talking clock. So it's actually not it's actually not the director on the day who's my closest collaborator. It's usually the DP. Now, obviously, if it's a camera operator and a DP, then I'm always staying with camera so that it becomes the camera operator. If we are in very tight spaces, such as a car, then I'm physically further away from camera, but then I would stay with the decision makers, who's usually a DP, and in that case, the director as well. I'm staying as close as possible. I'm making sure that I can hear them. I'm making sure that we're somehow in communication. In tiny rooms, the tiniest rooms, I still make sure that I stay with camera. As long as I can fit, I'm there. I had instances when I'm literally like under the tripod. I'm like, I can fit. I'm still here. I can still say action and cut. I'm still all right. Because all the surprises happen next to camera. If I'm in the other room, I have no idea why we're not rolling, what's going wrong, why are we saying cut, like what's happening. If you're not next to camera, and the only other person who usually stays next to camera for the entire day is the DP. So by default, you are becoming the closest collaborators on set. Now that just might be my personal preference. And the only time I really walk away from the DP when I'm just like, I'm 10-3, I'm walking away. I'm too bored of this. The only time is when they start lighting. As soon as they bring in camera, as soon as they pick a lens, and as soon as they finesse lighting, I'm like, yeah, do you need to stand in? Sure, I can do it. I'm right here, right next to you. Let's just do it. But as soon as they start lighting, I'm like, this is my cue to walk away. But I make sure that I ask for a time. It's never a realistic time, but I do ask for that time. How long do you need? And then halfway mark of that time that they just mentioned to me, I walk in. Are we still on time? Do you reckon? So, a little bit about the dynamic between the first AD and the DP. I personally have worked with only a handful of DPs in 10 years that I didn't enjoy working with. It was just a personal clash, just like their personalities and my personality was just not a match. On those days, you stay professional, and I just stick to my job role as I just have to make sure that I deliver a product on time. I'm very aware that the larger the project is, the larger the budget is, the larger the names are that are involved in the project, the more and more likely that you would get a personality of a DP who's treating themselves as a quasi-celebrity, and they can be absolutely rude and cruel even to their own team. Not only to the rest of the crew, but to their very own team. And that is just not the personality type that I would like to work with. Very fortunately, I'm at the stage of my career when I actually can say no if I have a really bad feeling about the people that I'm about to work with. And it's not worth for me to spend months with human beings that I don't want to physically be close to. So if you are in that position as well, when you have that sense that humanly you just don't get along with someone, and it's nobody's fault, it's just you have different temperaments, you have different worldviews, you have a different predisposition, and that's it. You're just not the right match for each other to work with and spend months with. Totally fine. But in cases when it's a short job and most of my issues with DPs have been the times when they don't understand what what an AD is doing. And they literally look down on you. Sometimes they never work with an AD because they are more of a videographer, let's be honest, than a DP. They are self-shooters, they pick up a camera and they do everything by themselves. And in those cases, the DP is pretty much running the set because it's them who presses the button, it's them who tells everybody else when they are ready, and they become the most important person on set. And when those DPs get a big, larger crew and they get an AD next to them, they don't know what to do with that. Sometimes they disrespect the role of an AD, and it becomes this quite weird dynamic when I don't feel that I would like to have any other relationship with this person other than I have to reinstate my I don't want to say authority. It's on set, every single HOD is perfectly on the same level when it comes to the chain of command, because they're all doing very distinct job roles. So the only thing that I'm trying to do with DPs who just don't understand what the fucking AD is doing is to distinguish my job role. I bring in my experience, and in a non-passive aggressive way, I showcase that I'm also taking into consideration things that he's not thinking about. I'm guiding the entire crew. I'm making sure that the timing is correct. I say things exactly when those things are needed to be said. I speak for a living. My job is time. My job is just leadership. That's all I do for the entire day. I make sure that a team is led properly. And I don't just think of one department or two departments. You establish boundaries with those people in a very professional, very grounded, very smooth as possible fashion. Not aggressively, not passive aggressively. We're all artists on our own right. Nobody wants to be talked down to. Nobody wants to be bossed around, and it works both ways. Nobody is there on set to feel like that they are just a piece of prop being tossed around, or that they are hired in hand for someone else because they don't want to do the dirty work and you're just slaving away for someone. Nobody, I've seen directors when they were quasi self-shooters and they literally stood behind the DP and grabbed the DP's shoulder and just pulled them wherever they wanted the camera to point. It's fucking embarrassing and disrespectful. So it works both ways. I highly respect what a DP is doing, and I appreciate when they highly respect what I'm doing. On the flip side, my favorite DPs ever to work with, and you know who you are because I said this to you very clearly at the end of the shoot, and it is only a handful of DPs, I have to be honest, that I just loved working with. Most of them are like, all right, yeah, it was nice, it was okay. But there are a handful of DPs where I'm like, yes. First of all, they are great communicators. They understand what an AD is doing, and there is a shorthand between DPs and ADs. Sometimes all they do, literally, all they have to do is say, thanks, Alex. That's all. I know that they are ready. I know that this is my cue. That's all we need. Just a shorthand. Thanks, Alex. That's it. We're good to go. We're ready. I very much appreciate when they are asking me or they are keeping me in the communication, whether it's like, is it me that we're waiting for? Like, is it lighting that we're waiting for? I'm just like, no, we're also waiting for sound and costume and whatever. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep on tinkering until you tell me to. Just this constant communication. Or I love when DPs are just like, you know what? Whenever you're ready, I'm ready. That's it. Oh, I'm also waiting for this. Or great, then we're good to go. There's this constant flow of understanding that you need this from me, I need this from you. We are working on this together. And we're all on every single set, we're working against time because time is an objective thing. This is just how it works. I'm trying my best to make it subjective and stretch the day and stretch the hours. I'm trying to optimize time as much as possible. But we all know how long it takes to change a lens. We all know how long it takes to move sticks from one end of the room to the other end of the room. We all know how long it takes to completely relight a room from one side to the other side. Nobody is in the dark about it, but we all lie about it. We all just say it's 5 minutes, and we all know it's not 5 minutes. So I very much appreciate DPs who are like, this is going to be 20 minutes. This is actually going to be an hour. I am going to need a little bit more time on this. Don't fucking lie to me. I've seen it. I know it. The only reason why I'm asking is so that it's a verbal agreement between us. It's not that I don't know how long you need. And it's different with every DP. Some people are just lighting with very minimalistic lighting, and some people are absolutely fast at what they are doing, and they are a different type of personality. Some people genuinely need time to tinker and figure out and perfect, and it's just a personality quirk. It's a personal pace, and you as the AD can read that personality quirk because you've seen it before. So don't lie to me about time. I very, very much appreciate when someone tells me the accurate state of events, or the tear deck's not working, or the monitors are shutting down, or this piece of cable broke or something. Keep me in the loop. I want to know. I don't know what that piece of equipment is. I don't necessarily know what it's doing, but I want to know that it's broken so that I can factor that in, and we might be able to figure out a solution together. There were plenty of times when I just say something from my layman's term common sense that nobody else is thinking about, and I don't understand the piece of equipment, but I just offer up a very stupidly simplistic solution, and it works, and we go with that, and we don't have to wait 30 minutes for that. We can just spend 5 minutes on that. Great. So being able to trustfully, respectfully have a flow of continuous communication when you're both treating each other as professionals and as specialists in your own right, that is the most gorgeous on-set relationship and on-set dynamic that you can have with someone. And those precious few DPs where we had that communication, the set itself becomes like a symphony. It is a flow of, this is how set should feel like. This is what we all came into the industry for. This is what we're all here for. We're here as storytellers, we're here as artists, and we all just want to see something beautiful or something really cool happening in front of camera. And when we have the time, when we have the means to do that, it is usually facilitated by very strong, very emotionally intelligent, and very professional communication that usually comes down to the DP and the AD because they are the closest people to camera. Hope that helps.